Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Popcorn Roulette. I'm James. Today we are watching A Few Good Men. I just watched Stand By Me Reacted, so feel free to go check that out. It's by the same director, Rob Reiner. All I know about this movie is that Jack Nicholson is a supporting actor to Tom Cruise leading, and it is based on a play. If you want to do the full watch along, that'll be over on Patreon. With that, let's get into the movie. Castle Rock! Man, those were always my favorites as a kid. Those are amazing colors. Everything's silhouetted. It's like you can taste it. Cuba's starting strong. No! No. Ah, why are they so scary? No. What? Rob! That was stressful. Demi Moore. Marching bands are so satisfying. They always just... They hit that deep... Oh, and Kevin Bacon? What? Those are some shiny boots. And Kiefer Sutherland? That precision is insane. I do not have the motor skills to even attempt to do that. Aaron Sorkin, neat. It's just like perpetual falling dominoes.
Captain, I'd like to request that I be returned in front.
Gotta love a girl who can know her grammar.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Commander Galloway. I'm here to see Captain West.
Oh, go right in, Commander. They're expecting you.
Thank you.
Man, she looks cool.
Joe, come on in.
Thank you, sir.
Captain West, this is Lieutenant Commander Galloway. Joe, you know Commander Lawrence?
Yes, sir. Captain, I appreciate you seeing me on such short notice.
Would you like to sit down?
I'm fine, sir.
Have a seat. I understand we had some trouble over the weekend down at Cuba?
Yes, sir. This past Friday, 2 Marines, a Lance Corporal Harold Dawson and a Private Loudon Downey, entered the barracks room of a PFC William Santiago and assaulted him. Santiago died at the base hospital approximately an hour later. The NIS agent who took Dawson and Downey's statements maintains they were trying to prevent Santiago from naming Dawson in a fence line shooting incident. They're scheduled to have a hearing down in Cuba this afternoon at 1600.
What's the problem?
Dawson and Downey are both recruiting poster Marines, and Santiago was known to be a screw-up. I was thinking it sounded an awful lot like a code red.
Christ.
Sir, I'd like to have them moved up to Washington and assigned counsel. Someone who can really look into this. Someone who possesses not only the legal skill, but a familiarity with the inner workings of the military. In short, Captain, I'd like to suggest that I be the one who, that it be me who is assigned to represent them.
Damn, girl. So close.
Commander Galloway, why don't you get yourself a cup of coffee?
Oh.
Thank you, sir. I'm fine.
Commander, I'd like you to leave the room so we can talk about you behind your back.
Certainly, sir.
Oh, girl, that's rough.
I thought this code red shit wasn't going on anymore.
No.
With the Marines, at Gitmo, who knows what the hell goes on down there?
Well, we better find out before the rest of the world does. Damn thing could get messy. All right, what about this Commander Galloway?
She's been working a desk in internal affairs for, what, a little over a year now?
For that?
She disposed of 3 cases in 2 years.
3 cases in 2 years. Who's she handling? The Rosenbergs?
She's not cut out for litigation. She's a hell of an investigator, Jerry. I
And
think we should
internal
give her an
affairs, sure,
opportunity.
she can crawl up a lawyer's ass with the best of them.
When it comes to trial work, I think...
I know. All passion, no street smarts. Bring her back in.
Well, she left her hat.
Joe.
Commander, we're gonna have the defendants moved up here in the morning.
Thank you, sir.
And you'll have division assigned them counsel.
But not me.
Well, from what I understand from your colleagues, you're much too valuable in your present assignment to be wasted on what I'm sure will boil down to a 5-minute plea bargain and a week's worth of paperwork.
Sir, I think there might be more involved than that.
Don't worry about it. I promise you, division will assign the right man for the job.
Right man for the job.
I said, be sorry about Sherby. You just looked the ball into your glove.
You're such a baby.
Caffey. Dave, I tried to help you out of this, but if you ask for jail time, I'm going to file a motion to dismiss.
You won't get it.
I will get it. And if the MTD is denied, I'll file a motion in limine seeking to obtain an evidentiary ruling in advance. And after that, I'm going to file against pretrial confinement. And you're going to spend the next 3 months going blind on paperwork because a signalman second class bought and smoked a dime bag of oregano. Let's go. Let's get to.
Okay.
See, misdemeanor, 15 days restricted duty.
I don't know why I'm agreeing to this.
You have wisdom beyond your years.
I wonder if law is actually about the law or if it's about who gets broken down first.
All right, Danny, I know you don't have a good excuse, so I won't force you to come up with a bad one.
Thank you, sir.
This first one's for you. Seems you're moving up in the world. Been requested by division.
Ooh.
Question to do what?
Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. A Marine corporal named Dawson illegally fires a round from his weapon over the fence line and into Cuban territory. PFC William Santiago threatens to rat on Dawson, the Naval Investigative Service. Dawson and another member of his squad, PFC Loudon Downey, go into Santiago's room, tie him up, stuff a rag down his throat, and an hour later, Santiago's dead. Attending physician says the rag was treated with some kind of toxin.
You poisoned the rag?
Not according to them.
What do they say?
Not much. They're being flown up here tomorrow, and on Wednesday at 0600, you'll catch a transport down to Cuba for the day to find out what you can. Meantime, go and see Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway with Internal Affairs.
It's a heavy pen.
The flight to Cuba, was that 0600 in the morning, sir?
Oh my God.
This one be handled by the book, so I'm assigning co-counsel. Any volunteers?
Yeah, Joe.
No.
Sam.
So I got a stack of papers on my desk about a mile high.
Work with Kathy on this.
Doing what? Cappy will have this done in about 4 days.
Doing various administrative things. Backup. Whatever.
In other words, I have no responsibilities here whatsoever.
Right.
My kind of case.
Right. Okay, but I've got to have the report by Wednesday.
All right.
Hi,
Hold on. Hi.
Daniel Caffey. I was told to meet with Lieutenant Commander Galloway. Got a briefing?
Why is he
I'll call you back.
chewing with his mouth open?
You're the attorney division assigned?
I'm lead counsel to Sam Weinberg.
I have no responsibilities here whatsoever.
Come in, please. Have a seat.
Even with the military updo, ethereal.
And how long have you been out of law school?
A little over a year.
I see.
Have I done something wrong?
No, it's that when I petitioned division to have counsel assigned, I was hoping I would be taken seriously.
No offense taken, in case you're wondering.
Commander, Lieutenant Caffey is generally considered the best litigator in our office. He's successfully plea bargained 44 cases in 9 months.
One more, I get a set of steak knives. Commander, from what I understand, if this thing goes to court, they won't need a lawyer. They'll need a priest.
No, they'll need a lawyer. Dawson's family's been contacted. Downey's closest living relative is Jenny Miller, his aunt on his mother's side. She hasn't been contacted yet. Would you like me to take care of that?
Sure, if you feel like it.
One of the people we'll be seeing down there is the barracks CO, Colonel Nathan Jessup. I assume you've heard of him.
Who hasn't?
He's been in the papers lately. He's expected to be appointed Director of Operations and National Security Council.
Really?
These are the letters that Santiago wrote in his 8 months at Gitmo.
That's Guantanamo Bay.
I knew that one.
That's a clever way for exposition.
Commandant of the Marine Corps, even as senator. He wanted to be transferred off the base. No one was listening. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Finally, he wrote to the Naval Investigative Service, where he offered information about Corporal Dawson's fence line shooting in exchange for a transfer.
Right. Is that all?
Lieutenant, this letter makes it look like your client had a motive to kill Santiago.
Got you. And Santiago is who?
The victim.
Write that down. Am I correct in assuming that these letters don't paint a flattering picture of Marine Corps life at Guantanamo Bay?
Yes,
Am I
among...
further right in assuming that a protracted investigation of this incident might cause some embarrassment for the Security Council guy?
Colonel Jessup.
12 years.
I'm sorry?
I'll get them to drop the conspiracy and conduct unbecoming. 12 years.
You haven't talked to a witness or looked at a piece of paper.
Pretty impressive, huh?
You're gonna have to go deeper than that.
Commander, do you have some sort of jurisdiction here that I should know about?
My job is to make sure that you do your job. I'm special counsel for internal affairs, so my jurisdiction's pretty much in your face. Read the letters. I'll expect a report when you return from Cuba.
Sure.
You're dismissed.
I always forget that part. He's a little preoccupied. Team's playing Bethesda Medical next week.
Tell your friend not to get cute down there. The Marines in Guantanamo are fanatical
About what?
about being Marines.
Dear sir, my name is PFC William T. Santiago. I'm a Marine stationed at Marine Barracks, Rifle Security Company, Windward, 2nd Platoon Bravo. I'm writing to inform you of my problems with my unit here in Cuba and to ask for your help. I've fallen out on runs before for several reasons, such as feeling dizzy or nauseated. But on May 18th, I've fallen back about 20 or 30 yards, going down a rocky, unstable hill. My sergeant grabbed me and pushed me down the hill. Then I saw all black, and the last thing I remember is hitting the deck. I was brought to the hospital where I was told I just had heat exhaustion. I ask you to help me. Please, sir, I just need to be transferred out of RSC. Sincerely, PFC William T. Santiago, U.S. Marine Corps. P.S. In exchange for my transfer off the base, I'm willing to provide you with information
about an illegal fence line shooting that occurred the night of August the 2nd. Who the is PFC William T. Santiago?
Show some respect.
He's a member of 2nd Platoon Bravo, sir. Yeah. Well, apparently he's not very happy down here at Shangri-La because he's written letters to everybody but Santa Claus asking for a transfer. And now he's telling tales about a fence line shooting. Matthew?
I'm appalled, sir.
You're appalled. This kid broke the chain of command and ratted on a member of his unit, to say nothing of the fact that he is a U.S. Marine, and it would appear he can't run from here to there without collapsing from heat exhaustion. What the is going on in Bravo Company, Matthew?
Colonel, I think perhaps it would be better to hold this discussion in private.
That won't be necessary, Colonel. I can handle this situation, sir.
The same way you handled the Curtis Bell incident.
Sir, my methods of leadership...
Don't interrupt me, Lieutenant. I'm still your superior officer.
And I'm yours, Matthew.
Man.
I want to know what we're going to do about this.
I think Santiago should be transferred off the base immediately.
He's that bad, huh?
Not only that, but word of this letter's bound to get out. He's going to get his ass whipped.
Transfer Santiago. Yes, sure, you're right. I'm sure that's the thing to do. Wait, I've got a better idea. Let's transfer the whole squad off the base.
Chill.
On second thought, Windward. Let's transfer the whole Windward division off the base. John, go on out there and get those boys down off the fence. They're packing their bags. Tom?
Sir.
Get me the president on the phone. We're surrendering our position in Cuba.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, Tom. Don't get the president just yet. Maybe we should consider this for a second. Dismiss, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe we have a responsibility as officers to train Santiago. Maybe we as officers have a responsibility to this country to see that the men and women charged with its security are trained professionals. Yes, I'm certain that I read that somewhere once. And now I'm thinking, Colonel Markinson, that your suggestion of transferring Santiago, while expeditious and certainly painless, might not be, in a manner of speaking, the American way. Santiago stays where he is. We're gonna train the lad.
Is this like...
You're in charge. Santiago doesn't make 4646 on his next proficiency and conduct report, and I'm going to blame you. Then I'm going to kill you.
Oh, violent.
I think that's a mistake, Colonel.
Matthew, I think I will have that word in private with you now. John, that's all. Why don't we meet at the O Club and have lunch, and we'll talk about the training of young William.
I'd be delighted to hear any suggestions that you might have, sir.
Dismissed.
Yes, sir.
So do we jump back, or are they not up to speed with Santiago's whereabouts?
What do you think of Kendrick?
Nathan, I don't think my opinion of Kendrick has any whatsoever.
I think he's pretty much of a weasel myself, but he's an awfully good officer. And in the end, we see eye to eye on the best way to run a Marine Corps unit. We're in the business of saving lives, Matthew. That is a responsibility that we have to take pretty seriously. And I believe that taking a Marine who is not quite up to the job and shipping him off to another assignment puts lives in danger.
Okay.
Sit down, Matthew.
Dude, he is scary. I probably wouldn't breathe
Go back a while.
until he told me
We
to.
went to the academy together. We were commissioned together. We did our tours in Vietnam together.
Okay.
But I've been promoted up through the chain with greater speed and success than you have.
All right.
Now, if that's a source of tension or embarrassment for you. I don't give a shit.
Well, it wasn't.
Business of saving lives, Lieutenant Colonel Markinson. Don't ever question my orders in front of another officer.
Okay, that's fair. Didn't have to put it so aggressively, I don't think. Is this so 600 hours?
Those names sound like they should mean something to me.
Dawson, Downey, the clients.
The Cuba thing, yeah, so Dawson and Downey, right.
What's his angle?
Done something wrong again, haven't I?
I was just wondering why two guys have been locked up since this morning while their lawyer's outside hitting a ball.
Trying to.
That wasn't funny.
It's a little funny.
It was a little funny.
You'd be very insulted if I recommended to your supervisor that he assign different counsel, but I don't think you're fit to handle the defense.
You don't even know me. Ordinarily, it takes someone hours to discover I'm not fit to handle a defense.
What a smart aleck.
Oh, come on. That was damn funny.
You're wrong. I do know you. Daniel Alistair Caffey, born June 8, 1964 at Boston Mercy Hospital. Your father's Lionel Caffey, former Navy judge, advocate, and Attorney General of the United States. Died 1985. You went to Harvard Law, then you joined the Navy. Probably because that's what your father wanted you to do. And now you're just treading water for the 3 years you've got to serve in the JAG Corps. Just kind of laying low till you can get out and get a real job. If that's the situation, that's fine. I won't tell anyone. But it's my feeling that if this case is handled in the same fast food, slick-ass, Persian bazaar manner with which you seem to handle everything else, then something's going to get missed. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I allowed Dawson and Downey to spend any more time in prison than absolutely necessary because their attorney had predetermined the path of least resistance.
Wow. I'm sexually aroused, Commander.
I don't want to laugh at that.
The doctor's report says that Santiago died of asphyxiation brought on by acute lactic acidosis, and that the nature of the acidosis strongly suggests poison. Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
Santiago died at 1 a.m. At 3, the doctor wasn't able to determine the cause of death. 2 hours later, he said it was poison.
Oh, now I see what you're saying. It had to be Professor Plum in the library with the candlestick.
I'm going to talk to your supervisor.
Okay, go straight up Pennsylvania Avenue. It's the big white house with the pillars in front.
Thank you.
I don't think you have much luck, though. I was assigned by division, remember? Somebody over there thinks I'm a pretty good lawyer, so while I appreciate your interest and admire your enthusiasm, I think I can handle things myself.
You know what a code red is?
No.
What a pity.
I don't. Does she want them to get off?
Someone has been working and playing well with others, Harold.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, PFC, Loud and Downey, sir.
Okay.
I'm Daniel Caffey. This is Sam Weinberg. Sit down. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. Is this your signature?
Sir, yes, sir.
So you don't need to do it twice in one sentence. What's code red?
Sir, a code red is a disciplinary engagement.
What's that mean exactly?
Sir, a Marine falls out of line. It's up to the men in his unit to get him back on track.
What's a garden variety code red?
Sir?
Harold, you say sir, and I turn around and look for my father. Daniel Caffey. Garden variety, typical. What's basic code red?
Sir, a Marine refuses to bathe on a regular basis. The men in his squad would give him a GI shower.
What's that?
Scrub brushes, Brillo pads, steel wool.
Beautiful.
Was the attack on Santiago code red?
Yes, sir.
Private Downey, the rag you stuffed in Santiago's mouth, was there poison on it?
No, sir.
Silver polish, turpentine, antifreeze?
No, sir. We were just gonna shave his head, sir.
When all of a sudden...
We saw blood dripping down his mouth, and we pulled the tape off, and there was blood all down his face, sir. That's when Lance Corporal Dawson called the ambulance.
Did anyone see you call the ambulance?
No, sir.
Were you there when the ambulance got there?
Yes, sir. That's when we were taken under arrest.
Lance Corporal, on the night of August 2nd, did you fire a shot across the fence line into Cuba?
Yes, sir.
Why?
My mirror engaged, sir.
His mirror?
For every American sentry post, there's a Cuban counterpart. They're called mirrors. Lance Corporal's claiming that his mirror was about to fire at him.
Santiago's letter to the NIS said you fired illegally. He's saying that the guy, the mirror, he never made a move. You see what I'm getting at? If Santiago didn't have anything on you, then why did you give him a code red?
Because he broke the chain of command, sir.
He what?
He went outside of his unit, sir. If he had a problem, he should have spoken to me, sir. Then a sergeant, then company commander. Then...
All right. Did you assault Santiago with the intent of killing him?
No, sir.
What was your intent?
To train him, sir.
Train him to do what?
Train him to think of his unit before himself. To respect the code.
What's the code?
Unit, Corps, God, Country.
I beg your pardon?
Unit, core, God, country.
That's a lot.
The government of the United States wants to charge you two with murder. And you want me to go to the prosecutor with unit, core, God, country?
That's our code, sir.
Not too bright, is he?
It's a code. We'll be back. You guys need anything? Books, papers, cigarettes, ham sandwich?
Sir! No, thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
I think there's a concept you better start warming up to.
Sir?
I'm the only friend you've got.
Interesting.
Dan Caffey.
Ah, this guy.
Jack Ross.
Welcome to the big time.
You think so?
Let's hope for Dawson and Downey's sake you practice law better than you play softball.
All right.
What are we looking at?
They plead guilty, we drop the conspiracy and the conduct unbecoming. 20 years, they're home in half that time.
I want 12.
Can't do it.
They called the ambulance, Jack.
Look, I don't care if they called the Avon lady. They killed a Marine.
The rag was tested for poison. The autopsy lab reports. They all say the same thing. Maybe, maybe not.
Chief of Internal Medicine at the Guantanamo Bay Naval Hospital says he's sure.
What do you know about code reds?
We off the record.
Tell me.
I'm gonna give you the 12 years. Before you go getting yourself into trouble tomorrow, I think you should know. The platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, held a meeting with the men and specifically told them not to touch Santiago.
What?
We still playing hoops tomorrow night?
We have a deal?
I'll talk to you when I get back.
The...
Any luck getting me replaced?
Is there anyone in this command you don't need a drink or play softball with?
Commander,
Listen,
what...
I came to make peace. Got off on the wrong foot. What do you say, friends?
Look, I don't...
By the way, I brought Downey some comic books he was asking for. The kid at Cafe, I swear, doesn't know where he is. Doesn't even know why he's been arrested.
Commander?
You can call me Joanne.
Joanne.
Or Joe.
Joe?
Yes.
Joe, if you ever speak to a client of mine again without my permission, I have you disbarred. Friends?
I had authorization.
From where?
Downey's closest living relative, Jenny Miller, his aunt on his mother's side.
You got authorization from Aunt Jenny?
I gave her a call like you asked. Very nice woman. We spoke for about an hour.
Got authorization from Aunt Jenny.
Perfectly within my province.
Does Aunt Jenny have a barn? We can hold the trial there. I can sew the costumes. Maybe his Uncle Goober can be the judge.
I'm going to Cuba with you tomorrow.
Ooh, so
And the
snippy.
hits just keep on coming.
Another day, another dollar, Captain.
You gotta play him as they lay.
What goes around comes around.
Can't beat him, join him.
At least I got my hair.
You got everything. See you tomorrow, Luther.
Not if I see you first.
So what, just a string of dad jokes?
You heard her. The girl sat here, pointed, and said pa. She did. Said pa.
She was pointing at a mailbox, saying,
That's right. Pointing as if to say, pa, look, a mailbox.
Parents really do be like that, don't they?
Jack Ross came to see me today. He offered me the 12 years.
Oh, that's what you wanted, right?
I know, I guess I'll take it up.
So,
Took about 45 seconds. I barely put up a fight.
Danny, take the 12 years. It's a gift.
You don't believe that story, do you? You think they ought to go to jail for the rest of their lives?
I believe every word of their story, and I think they ought to go to jail for the rest of their lives.
You got Dramamine?
Dramamine keeps you cool?
No, Dramamine keeps you from throwing up. You get sick when you fly.
I get sick when I fly because I'm afraid of crashing into a large mountain. I don't think Dramamine will help.
I got some oregano. I hear that works pretty good.
What irony that he goes on to do Top Gun.
He said the platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, had a meeting with the men and specifically told them not to touch Santiago.
So?
I never mentioned Kendrick. I don't even know who he is. I'll see you tomorrow.
The plot thickens. There's no way I could ever be in the military. I drink way too much coffee, and my whites would be stained in 4 seconds. I don't know how they do it. They're pristine.
Lieutenant Caffey Weinberg, Commander Galloway.
Look how clean those are.
To escort you to the windward side of the base.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got some camouflage jackets in the Jeep, sir. I suggest you both put them on.
Camouflage jackets?
Yes, sir. We'll be riding pretty close to the fence line. The Cubans see an officer wearing white. They think it might be someone they want to take a shot at. Good call, Sam.
Whoa, hold it. We gotta take a boat?
Yes, sir. To get to the other side of the bay.
Nobody said anything about a boat.
Is there a problem, sir?
No, no problem. I'm just not that crazy about boats, that's all.
You're in the Navy.
You're in the Navy for crying out loud.
Nobody likes her very much.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't like boats in the Navy. Sorkin, you picked a really weird character trait.
How the hell is your dad, Danny?
He passed away 7 years ago, sir.
Ooh.
Don't I feel like the asshole.
Not at all, sir.
Well, what can we do for you, Danny?
Not much, sir. This is really formality more than anything else. JAGCOR insists that we interview all the relevant witnesses.
JAGCOR can be demanding that way.
John will take you out and show you what you want to see. After that, we can all hook up for lunch. How does that sound?
Fine, sir.
Hook up for lunch. What a lunch. That looks like hell.
I told the men that we had an informer among us and that despite any desire they might have to seek retribution, Private Santiago was not to be harmed in any way.
What time is that meeting?
1600.
It's 4 o'clock.
I can't tell if they're kidding or if you really can't read military time. Oh. Does military police tape really say military police? Miss Bryant wearing gloves. Don't. Stop touching the crime scene without gloves, please.
Sam, we should make sure somebody gets this to his parents. We don't need it anymore. Lieutenant Kendrick, may I call you John?
No, you may not.
Have I done something to offend you?
No, I like all you Navy boys. Every time we gotta go someplace to fight, you fellas always give us a ride.
Lieutenant Kendrick, do you think Santiago was murdered?
Commander, I believe in God and his son, Jesus Christ. Because I do, I can say this. Private Santiago is dead, and that is a tragedy. But he is dead because he had no code. He is dead because he had no honor. And God was watching.
What?
How do you feel about that theory?
Sounds good. Let's move on.
Are you planning on doing any investigating, or are you just going to take the guided tour?
I'm pacing myself.
Walk softly and carry an armored tank division, I always say.
White Lotus season 4.
On the morning of the 6th, you were contacted by an NIS agent who said that Santiago tipped him off to an illegal fence line shoot.
Yes.
Santiago is going to reveal the person's name in exchange for a transfer.
Yes.
If you feel there are any details that I'm missing, you should feel free to speak up.
Thank you.
At this point, you call Lieutenant Colonel Markinson and Lieutenant Kendrick into your office. Is that right?
Yes.
What happened then?
We agreed that for his own safety, Santiago should be transferred off the base.
Okay.
Santiago was set to be transferred.
On the first available flight to the States. 0600 the next morning. 5 hours too late, as it turned out.
Oh.
All right, that's all I have. Thanks very much for your time.
The corporal's waiting outside with a Jeep for you. He'll take you back to the flight line.
Thank you, sir.
Wait a minute, I've got some questions.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Colonel, on the morning that Santiago died, did you meet with Dr. Stone between 3 and 5?
Of course, I met with the doctor. But one of my men was dead.
See? The man was dead. Let's go.
I was just wondering if you've ever heard the term Code Red.
I've heard the term, yes.
This past February, Colonel, you received a cautionary memo from the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, warning that the practice of enlisted men disciplining their own wasn't to be condoned by officers.
Well, I submit to you that whoever wrote that memo has never faced the working end of a Soviet-made Cuban AK-47 assault rifle. However, the directive having come from the commander, I gave it its due attention. What is your point, Joe?
She has no point. She often has no point, sir. It's part of her charm. We're out of here. Thank you.
My point is that I think Code Reds still go on down here. Do Code Reds still happen on this base, Colonel?
Joe, the colonel doesn't need to answer that.
Yes, he does.
No, he really doesn't.
Yeah, he really does. Colonel.
You know, it just hit me. She outranks you, Danny. I want to tell you something, and listen up, because I really mean this. You're the luckiest man in the world. There is nothing on this earth sexier, believe me, gentlemen, than a woman that you have to salute in the morning. Promote them all, I say, because this is true. If you haven't gotten a job from a superior officer, well, you're just letting the best in life pass you by.
It doesn't age well.
I need an answer to my questions.
Take caution in your tone, Commander. I'm a fair guy, but this heat is making me absolutely crazy. You want to ask me about Code Reds on the record, I tell you I discourage the practice in accordance with the commander's directive. Off the record, I tell you it is an invaluable part of close infantry training, and if it happens to go on without my knowledge, so be it. I run my unit how I run my unit. You want to investigate me, roll the dice and take your chances. I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me, so don't think for 1 second that you can come down here flash a badge, and make me nervous.
Honestly, with that attitude, I hope they kill you. I shouldn't say that.
Let's go.
That's so stressful.
Colonel, I just need a copy of Santiago's transfer order.
What's that?
Santiago's transfer order. You guys have paperwork on that kind of thing. I just need it for the file.
For the file?
Yeah.
Of course, you can have a copy of the transfer order for the file, man. I'm here to help in any way I can.
Thank you.
You believe that, don't you, Danny? That I'm here to help you in any way I can?
Of course.
Corporal will take you by personnel on your way out to the flight line, and you can have all the transfer orders that you want. You have to ask me nicely.
Ew.
I beg your pardon?
You have to ask me nicely. You see, Danny, I can deal with the bullets and the bombs and the blood. I don't want money, and I don't want medals. What I do want is for you to stand there in that faggoty white uniform and with your Harvard mouth extend me some courtesy.
Ew.
You gotta ask me nicely.
You gotta stop slurring with the homophobic slurs.
Colonel Jessup, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like a copy of the transfer order.
Punch him.
Sir.
No problem.
What is this swinging dick contest? They sure make you hate him real quick. Right, that side-eye is telling. 10 to 10, that's like a crazy score, no?
3 hours.
Markinson's disappeared.
What?
Colonel Markinson's gone UA. Unauthorized absence.
I know what it means. When?
This afternoon, sometime after we left.
I'll try to find him in the morning.
I've already tried.
You tried? Joanne, you're coming dangerously close to the textbook definition of interfering with a government investigation.
I'm Loudon Downey's attorney. Aunt Ginny. She said she feels like she's known me for years. So I suggested that she might feel more comfortable if I were directly involved with the case. She had Loudon sign the papers about an hour ago.
Girls do what you gotta do.
It's way too much to hope that you're making this up just to bother me.
Don't worry, I'm not going to make a motion for separation. You're still lead counsel.
Splendid.
I think Kendrick ordered the code red, and so do you.
Let's go.
Officer on deck 10, hut!
Kendrick ordered code red.
Sir?
Don't say sir like I just asked you if you cleaned the latrine. You heard what I said. Did Lieutenant Kendrick order you guys to give Santiago a code red?
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Did he?
Yes, sir.
You mind telling me why the hell you never mentioned this before?
You didn't ask us, sir.
You eat my shit's not gonna win you a place in my heart, Corporal. I get paid no matter how much time you spend in jail.
Yes, sir. I know you do, sir.
You, Harold!
All right, at ease. Let's sort this thing out. There was a platoon meeting on September 6th at 4 in the afternoon. Lieutenant Kendrick says that he gave strict instructions that nothing was to happen to Santiago. Now, is this true? I want you to speak freely.
Ma'am, that's correct. But then he dismissed the platoon and we all went to our rooms.
And what happened then?
Lieutenant Kendrick came to our room, ma'am.
When?
About 5 minutes after the meeting broke, sir. About 16:20.
And what happened then?
Lieutenant Kendrick ordered us to give Santiago a code red.
Damn.
How long have you known about the order?
I didn't. Who's this?
It's Joe Galloway. She's Downey's lawyer. She's very pleased to meet you.
What exactly are you accusing me of, Commander?
How long have you known about the order?
Jack did know about the order, because if he did, he hadn't told us. Jack knows he'd be violating about 14 articles of the Code of Ethics. As it is, Jack's got enough to worry about. God forbid our clients decide to plead not guilty and testify for the record that they were given an order.
Kendrick specifically told those men not to touch Santiago.
That's right. And then he went into Dawson Downey's room and specifically told him to give him a code red.
That's not what Kendrick says.
Kendrick's lying.
You have proof?
I have the defendants.
And I have 23 Marines who aren't accused of murdering a lieutenant with 4 letters of commendation.
Why did Markinson go UA?
You'll never know.
You don't think I could subpoena Markinson?
You can try, but you won't find him. You know what Markinson did for the first 17 of his 26 years in the Corps? Counterintelligence. Markinson's gone. There is no Markinson. Jessup Star is on the rise. Division will give me a lot of room on this one to spare Jessup and the Corps any embarrassment.
How much room?
I'll knock it all down to involuntary manslaughter, 2 years or home in 6 months.
No deal. We're going to court.
Joe.
No, you're not.
Why not?
Because you'll lose. And Danny knows it. And he knows that if we do go to court, I'm going to have to go all the way. They're going to be charged with a whole truckload. Murder, conspiracy, conduct unbecoming. And even though he's got me by the balls out here, Danny knows that in a courtroom, he loses his case. See, Danny is an awfully talented lawyer, and he's not about to see his clients go to jail for life when he knows they could be home in 6 months.
But they did murder him.
I'll see you tomorrow morning at the arraignment.
Just because they got an order doesn't mean they didn't murder him.
All right. Here's the story. The government's offering involuntary manslaughter 2 years. You're home in 6 months.
No deal. No. Don't do it.
Wow. You're the greatest lawyer in the world. Ooh, how can we ever thank you? Fellas, you hear what I just said? You're going home in 6 months. I'm afraid we can't do that, sir. Do what? Make a deal, sir. What are you talking about? We did nothing wrong, sir. We did our job, and if that has consequences, then I'll accept them. I won't say that I'm guilty, sir.
Oh my.
Did she put you up to this?
No.
We have a code, sir. Well, zippity-doo-dah. You and your code, plead not guilty. You'll be in jail for the rest of your life. Do what I'm telling you, you'll be home in 6 months. Do it, Harold. 6 months. It's nothing. It's a hockey season.
Hockey's a really long season.
Permission to speak! Jesus! What do we do then, sir? When? After 6 months, we'll be dishonorably discharged, right, sir? Probably. What do we do then, sir?
Yeah.
We joined the Marines because we wanted to live our lives by a certain code, and we found it in the Corps. Now you're asking us to sign a piece of paper that says we have no honor. You're asking us to say we're not Marines. If a court decides that what we did was wrong, then I'll accept whatever punishment they give. But I believe I was right, sir. I believe I did my job, and I will not dishonor myself, my unit, or the Corps so that I can go home in 6 months! Sir!
I think we've heard this excuse before. Circa 1944. Just following orders.
We'd like to go in another holding room.
Aye, ma'am.
Aye.
Sit down.
It is the Navy. They probably say that.
You don't like me very much, do you? Forget it, don't answer.
It's a mindless lackey.
Downey worships you. He's gonna do whatever you do. Are you really gonna let this happen to him because of a code, Harold? Do you think we were right? Doesn't matter. Do you think we were right? I think you'd lose. You're such a coward. I can't believe they let you wear a uniform.
You're a coward.
I'm not gonna feel responsible for this, Harold. I did everything I could. You're going to Leavenworth for the better part of your life, and you know what? I don't give a shit. What happened to saluting an officer when he leaves the room?
Ooh. Oh, bitch.
Open it up.
There's just little robots.
Ross is gonna go to jail just to spite me. Fine. If he wants to jump off a cliff, that's his business. I'm not gonna hold his hand on the way down. I want to get him a new lawyer. How do I do it?
Just make a motion tomorrow morning at the arraignment. The judge will ask you if you want to enter a plea, and you tell him you want to have new counsel assigned.
Ooh.
One thing, though. When you ask the judge for new counsel, Danny, be sure and ask nicely.
What do you want from me?
I want you to let them be judged. I want you to stand up and make an argument.
An argument that didn't work for Callie at My Lai, an argument that didn't work for the Nazis at Nuremberg.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Sam. Do you really think that's the same as 2 teenage Marines executing a routine order they never believed would result in harm? These guys aren't the Nazis.
Don't look now, Danny, but you're making an argument.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I get them a new attorney.
Why are you so afraid to be a
Look.
lawyer? Were Daddy's expectations really that high?
Oh, please, spare me the psychobabble father bullshit. Dawson and Downey will have their day in court, but they'll have it with another lawyer.
Another lawyer won't be good enough. They need you. You know how to win. You know they have a case, and you know how to win. If you walk away from this now, you've sealed their fate.
Their fate was sealed the moment Santiago died.
Do you believe they have a case?
You and Dawson, you both live in the same dream world. It doesn't matter what I believe. It only matters what I can prove. So please, don't tell me what I know and don't know. I know the law.
I think it's manslaughter.
You know nothing about the law. You're a used car salesman, Daniel. You're an ambulance chaser with a rank. You're nothing. Go with that.
See, I don't think I want them to get off. They killed a dude. Even if it wasn't intentional, it's manslaughter. Could be first degree, though, with intent. Since it could be seen as retaliatory. They were retaliating.
All rise.
Docket number 411275, VR-5, the United States versus Lance Corporal Harold W. Dawson and Private First Class Loudon Downey. The accused are charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and conduct unbecoming a United States Marine.
Does defense wish to enter a plea?
Yeah, they're not guilty.
Enter a plea of not guilty for the accused. We will adjourn until 1000, 3 weeks from today, at which time this general court-martial will reconvene.
Man,
Work out of my apartment every night, 7 o'clock. Joe, before you come over tonight, pick up a carton of legal pads, half a dozen boxes of red pens, half a dozen boxes of black pens. Sam, get a couple of desk lamps. I need you to start on a preliminary medical profile. And Joe, we need all the proficiency and conduct reports on Dawson, Downey, and Santiago. The only thing I have to eat is Yoo-hoo and Cocoa Puffs, so if you want anything else, bring it with you. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is what a courtroom looks like.
They're pulling together their own suicide squad, aren't they?
Were you able to speak to your friend at the NIS?
Yeah. She said if Markinson doesn't want to be found, we're not gonna find him. She said I could be Markinson and you wouldn't know it.
Are you Markinson?
No.
I'm not Markinson. That's two down.
It's a pretty solid joke.
It doesn't matter what they knew. Any decent human being would have refused.
You're not permitted to question orders.
Then what's the secret? Huh? What are the magic words? I give orders every day. Nobody
We have
follows.
softball games and marching bands. They work at a place where you have to wear camouflage or you might get shot.
Enter gray area. I know.
I need you. You're better at research than I am, and you know how to prepare a witness.
Man.
I've got medical reports and Chinese food. I say we eat first.
Ooh, those sound like two fun things. Okay, the hair.
You got any Kung Pao chicken?
Pin it.
This is our defense. Intent. No one can prove there is poison on the rag. Code red. They're common and accepted in Guantanamo Bay. The order. A, Kendrick gave it. B, they had no choice but to follow it.
What about motive?
We're a little weak on motive. They had one.
Just because a person has a motive doesn't mean they're guilty.
Relax. We'll deal with the fence line shooting when it comes up. For now, we start with intent. I don't know what made Santiago die. I don't want to know. I just want to be able to show it could have been something other than poison. Joe, talk to doctors. Find out everything there is to know about lactic acidosis.
Captain Hill.
Sam, I want you
This
to
is
find out
Lieutenant
who else
Commander
was in the
Galloway with the
emergency
JAG
room
Corps in
tonight.
Washington. I've been trying to track down a Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Andrew Markinson.
Doctor,
US
was there
citizen.
any sign of external damage?
He's got an unauthorized
Scrapes?
absence.
No cuts?
No.
Don't wear that perfume in court. Wrecks my concentration.
Really?
Really?
I'll see you in court, counselor.
I was just going to tell you to wear matching socks tomorrow.
Awkward. I say everybody's guilty. Kendrick, the boys, everybody. The other one. That's an awfully small knot for the 80s. Was this the 80s? 90s?
You are gonna save our son, aren't you?
I'll do my best.
Okay, that's
Danny, I'd like you to meet Jenny Miller, Loudon's aunt.
Your Aunt Jenny?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I was expecting someone older.
yeah, she's lovely.
Last chance, I'll flip you for it.
All rise.
Too late.
Man, a jury of your peers is a
Stand forward and you shall be heard. Colonel Julius Alexander Randolph is presiding.
Is the government prepared to make an opening statement?
lot more intimidating when it's military.
He'll have no evidence, mind you, none, but it's going to be entertaining. And when we get to the end, all the magic in the world will not have been able to divert your attention from the fact that Willie Santiago is dead and Dawson and Downey killed him. These are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed.
It's not a good haircut. Not a good haircut.
Assigned to Rifle Security Company Windward, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And you're given an order. You follow it, or you pack your bags.
Hmm.
Make no mistake about it. Harold Dawson and Loudon Downey are sitting before you today because they did their job.
Is the government ready to call its first witness?
Please, the court. The government calls Mr. R.C. McGuire.
I can't imagine
McGuire, would you raise your right hand, please?
defending someone you know is guilty.
I notified the barracks CO, Colonel Jessup, that I would be coming down to investigate.
And what did you find?
The shift reported only one sentry returned his weapon to the switch with a round of ammunition missing.
Who was that?
Lance Corporal Harold Dawson.
Your witness.
Mr. McGuire, have you questioned Lance Corporal Dawson about the fence line shooting?
Yes, he claims to have been engaged in some manner by the enemy.
But you don't believe him.
It's not my place to
Lance Corporal
question.
Dawson's been charged with a number of crimes. Why wasn't he charged with firing at the enemy without cause?
There was enough evidence to support such a charge.
Thank you.
Mr. McGuire, I don't understand what you mean when you say there wasn't enough evidence to support such a charge. You had William Santiago's letter.
Santiago was the only eyewitness. I never had the chance to interview him, so I don't know what he saw.
And now we'll never know. Will we, Mr. McGuire?
No.
Yeah. That was a good line of questioning. Bacon.
Were you present at a meeting that Lieutenant Kendrick held on the afternoon of September 6th with the members of the 2nd Platoon?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Lieutenant Kendrick told us we had an informer in our group, that Private Santiago had gone outside the chain of command and reported to the NIS on a member of our platoon.
Did that make you mad?
You can tell the truth, Corporal. It's all right. Did it make you mad?
Yes, sir.
How mad?
Private Santiago betrayed a code we believe in very deeply, sir.
Were the other members of the squad angry?
Object. Speculation.
Were Dawson and Downey?
Please, the court. This is government counsel honestly asking this witness to testify as to how my clients felt on September 6th.
Sustained.
Corporal, did Lieutenant Kendrick leave a standing order at that meeting?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
Well, it was clear that he didn't want us taking matters into our own hands, sir.
What was the order?
Sir, he said Santiago wasn't to be touched.
Corporal Hammaker, were you in Dawson and Downey's barracks room 5 minutes after this meeting?
No, sir.
Thanks. I have no more questions.
The witness is excused.
Thank you, Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. It's been a minute. Always good to see you.
Please, the court, I understand Captain Ross is planning on calling all the other members of Rifle Security Company Windward to testify.
In light of the defense, Lieutenant Caffey is planning to mount the explicit instructions of the platoon leader. Seems particularly relevant testimony.
The defense is willing to concede that all 22 witnesses will testify substantially as Corporal Hammaker did, if the government is willing to concede that none of them were in Dawson and Downey's room at 16:20 on September 6th.
Captain?
The government will stipulate.
Then we will adjourn for the day. You can call your next witness tomorrow morning.
All rise.
That's an early lunch. It's always a good day. Man, these sunrise sunset shots, the gradients are just...
And a perfectly clean rag was placed in my mouth, and the rag was accidentally pushed too far down. Is it possible that my cells would continue burning sugar after the rag was taken out?
It would have to be a very serious condition.
Is it possible to have a serious coronary condition where the initial warning signals were so mild as to escape a physician during a routine medical exam?
Possibly. There would still be symptoms, though.
What kind of symptoms?
There are hundreds of...
Chest pains?
Yes.
Shortness of breath?
Yes.
Fatigue?
Of course.
So homie who could have run in the heat.
Is this your signature?
Oh man.
Yes, it is.
This is an order for Private Santiago to be put on restricted duty. Would you read your handwritten remarks at the bottom of the page, please, sir?
Damn.
Initial testing, negative. Patient complains of chest pains, shortness of breath, and fatigue. Restricted from running distances over 5 miles for 1 week.
Commander, isn't it possible that Santiago had a serious coronary condition? It was that condition and not some mysterious poison that caused the accelerated chemical reaction.
No.
Is that possible?
No. I personally give each man a thorough physical examination. Private Santiago was given a clean bill of health.
That's why it had to be poison, right, Commander? Because Lord knows if you put a man with a serious coronary condition on duty with a clean bill of health and that man died from a heart-related incident, you'd have a lot to answer for, wouldn't you, Doctor?
Object. Move to strike.
Sustained.
Ugh.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
In your professional medical opinion, was Willie Santiago poisoned?
Your Honor, we renew our objection to Commander Stone's testimony and ask that it be stricken from the record. We further ask the court to instruct the court members to lend no weight to this witness's testimony.
The objection's overruled, counsel.
Strenuously objects and requests an 802 conference so that His Honor might have an opportunity to hear discussion before ruling on this objection.
The objection of the defense has been heard and overruled.
Move to reconsider.
Your objection is noted. The witness is an expert and the court will hear his opinion.
Men. Mother.
Was Willie Santiago poisoned?
Yes.
That's just semantics.
I have no more questions.
Because the jury's gonna hear expert, and what they need to hear is opinion.
We'll stand in recess until 1000, Monday the 19th, at which time the defense will call its first witness.
Good God.
All rise.
Oh, man.
No, I strenuously object. Oh, wow. Strenuously object, and I should take some time to reconsider.
I got it on the record.
Hey, you also got the court members thinking we're afraid of the doctor. You object once so they can hear us say he's not a criminologist. You keep after it the way you did, and suddenly our great cross looks like a bunch of fancy lawyer tricks. It's a difference between paper law and trial law.
Sam.
Christ, you even had the judge saying Stone was an expert.
Sam, she made a mistake. Let's not relive it.
Oh.
I'm gonna go call my wife. I'll see you tonight.
Why do you hate them so much?
They beat up on a weakling. That's all they did. All right? The rest of this is just smoke-filled coffee house crap. They tortured and tormented a weaker kid. They didn't like him, so they killed him. And why? Because he couldn't run very fast.
All right. Everybody take the night off.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. Look, we were working 20 hours a day for 3.5 weeks straight. Just take the night off. Go see your wife, see your daughter, Joe. Go do whatever it is you do when you're not here.
Why do you like them so much?
Because they stand on a wall and they say nothing's gonna hurt you tonight. Not on my watch.
I don't really...
Don't worry about the doctor. His trial starts Monday.
I really understand her perspective. It was like a middle schooler's like investigation court board. The order.
Just watch the ball game. Come on.
Obey the order. Okay.
I was wondering how you'd feel about my taking you to dinner tonight.
Are you asking me out on a date?
No,
Sounded like you were asking me on a date.
I wasn't.
What? What a troll.
Do you like seafood? I know a good seafood place.
Okay.
While you're in the middle of a case, that's so bold. That is so bold.
My third case was a drunken disorderly. It lasted 9 weeks. I rounded up 31 people from the bar that night.
9 weeks on a D&D? Well, what was the prosecutor offering?
15 days. I think you're an exceptional lawyer. I watch the court members. They respond to you. They like you. I see you convincing them, and I think Dawson and Downey are going to end up owing their lives to you.
Corporal Jeffrey Owen Barnes, Marine Barracks Windward, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Corporal Barnes, name some reasons why a Marine would receive a code red.
Being late for platoon or company meetings, keeping his barracks in disorder, falling back on a run.
Have you ever received a code red?
Yes, sir. We were doing 7-man assault drills and my weapon slipped. It was just because it was over 100 degrees and my palms were sweaty and I'd forgotten to use the resin like we were taught.
What happened?
That night, the guys in my squad threw a blanket over me, took turns punching me in the arm for 5 minutes, and then they poured glue on my hands. And it worked, too, because I ain't never dropped my weapon since.
Was Private Santiago ever late for platoon meetings?
Yes, sir.
Was his barracks ever in disorder?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever fall back on a run?
All the time, sir.
Did he ever, prior to the night of September 6th, receive a code red?
No, sir.
Never?
No, sir.
You got a code red because your palms were sweaty. Why didn't Santiago, this burden to his unit, ever get one?
Dawson wouldn't allow it, sir.
Dawson wouldn't allow it.
The guys talked tough about Santiago, but they wouldn't go near him. They were too afraid of Dawson, sir.
Object. The witness is speculating.
I'll rephrase. Jeffrey, did you ever want to give Santiago a code red?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you?
Because Dawson would kick my butt, sir.
Good enough. Captain Ross is going to ask you some questions now.
I hold here the Marine Outline for Recruit Training. Are you familiar with this book?
Yes, sir.
Have you read it?
Yes, sir.
Good. Would you turn to the chapter that deals with code reds, please?
Ooh.
Just flip to the page in the book that discusses code reds.
Well, you see, sir, code red is a term that we use. I mean, just down to Gitmo. I don't know if it's
we're luck
actually-
then.
It's an off the menu item. Come on, it still exists.
Now, I assume we'll find the term code red and its definition in that book. Am I correct?
No, sir.
No? Corporal Barnes, I'm a Marine. Is there no book, no manual or pamphlet, no set of orders or regulations that lets me know that as a Marine, one of my duties is to perform code reds?
No, sir. No book, sir.
No further questions.
Haircut on Kevin Bacon makes sense. He's being a dweeb.
Would you turn to the page in this book that says where the mess hall is, please?
Well, Lieutenant Caffey, that's not in the book, sir.
You mean to say in all your time at Gitmo, you've never had a meal?
No, sir. 3 squares a day, sir.
I don't understand. How did you know where the mess hall was if it's not in this book?
Well, I guess I just followed the crowd at chow time, sir.
No more questions.
Dang, he is a good lawyer.
7 tonight, we'll do a final Kendrick review. I want to slam dunk this guy.
It was a good soundtrack.
Well, it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Say that again.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Walked into that one.
I want a local newsie to spar commentaries with, like cliches with. I don't like, yeah.
You scared the shit out of me.
Just keep driving. All I can do is help you, Lieutenant.
What do you know?
I know everything.
Was it a code red?
Yes.
Did Kendrick give the order?
Yes.
Did you witness it?
I didn't need
Did you witness it?
No.
And how do you know?
I know.
Yeah, you know shit.
He was never going to be transferred off that base.
Okay, reckless driving is also a crime.
Jessup was going to keep him on the base. He said he wanted him trained.
You've got the transfer order. It's got your signature.
I know. I signed him the morning you arrived in Cuba, 5 days after Santiago died.
I knew it, son of a bitch.
I don't want a deal, and I don't want immunity. I want you to know that I'm proud neither of what I have done nor of what I am doing.
Okay.
Downtown Lodge in Northeast.
I want him guarded.
That's probably a good
My
idea.
clearance code is
He also said that. Clearance code?
411-527-273.
I don't have a clearance code. Do you have a clearance code?
This is Joe Galloway. I need to secure a witness.
Oh, yeah, anyway, he also said that Jessup's lying about the transportation off the base. Jessup said that 6 the next morning was the first flight Santiago could have left on. Markinson says there was a plane that left 7 hours earlier. Motel room in Northeast with 6 federal marshals outside his door. Take a sip of your drink. Transfer the Markinson signed. It's phony. Jessup's statement that the 6 a.m. flight was first available is a lie. We're checking the tower chief's log.
You accuse Kendrick or Jessup of any crime without proper evidence, you're going to be subject to a court-martial for professional misconduct, and that's something that's going to be stapled to every job application you ever fill out.
That's scary.
Don't you dare lump me in with Jessup and Kendrick just because we wear the same uniform.
You need to.
Now, I want you to acknowledge that the judge advocate has made you aware of the possible consequences involved in accusing a Marine officer of a felony without proper evidence.
I've been so advised.
Dang.
You got bullied into that courtroom, Danny. By everyone. By Dawson. By Galloway. Shit, I practically dared you. You got bullied into that courtroom by the memory of a dead lawyer.
Dang. Why'd they gotta bring his daddy into it?
You're a lousy softball player, Jack.
You boys are going down, Danny. I can't stop it anymore.
Lieutenant Kendrick, in your opinion, was Private Santiago a good Marine?
I'd say he was about average.
Lieutenant, you signed 3 proficiency and conduct reports on Santiago. On all 3 reports, you indicated a rating of below average.
Yes, Private Santiago was below average. I did not see the need to trample on a man's grave.
Fair.
You're under oath now, and I think unpleasant as it may be, we'd all just soon hear the truth.
I'm aware of my oath.
Lieutenant, these are the last 3 pro-con reports you signed for Lance Corporal Dawson. Dawson received 2 marks of exceptional, but on this most recent report dated June 9th of this year, he received a rating of below average. It's this last report that I'd like to discuss for a moment.
That would be fine.
Lance Corporal Dawson's ranking after the School of Infantry was perfect. Records indicate that over half that class has since been promoted to full corporal, while Dawson has remained a Lance Corporal. Was Dawson's promotion held up because of this last report?
I'm sure it was.
Do you recall why Dawson was given such a poor grade on this report?
I'm sure I don't. I have many men in my charge, Lieutenant. I write many reports.
Lieutenant, do you recall an incident involving a PFC Curtis Bell who'd been found stealing liquor from the officers' club?
Yes, I do.
Did you report Private Bell to the proper authorities?
I have 2 books at my bedside, Lieutenant. The Marine Corps Code of Conduct and the King James Bible. The only proper authorities I am aware of are my commanding officer, Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, and the Lord our God.
Church and state.
Request, Lieutenant Kendrick, I can have the record reflect your lack of acknowledgement of this court as a proper authority.
Objection. Argumentative.
Sustained. Watch yourself, counselor.
Did you report Private Bell to your superiors?
I remember thinking very highly of Private Bell, not wanting to see his record tarnished by a formal charge.
You prefer to be handled within the unit?
Yes, I most certainly do.
Lieutenant, do you know what a code red is?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever ordered a code red?
No, I have not.
Lieutenant, did you order Dawson and 2 other men to make sure that Private Bell received no food or drink except water for a period of 7 days?
That is a distortion of the truth, Lieutenant. Private Bell was placed on barracks restriction. He was given water and vitamin supplements, and I can assure you, at no time was his health in danger.
Sure, it was lovely for Private Bell. But you did order the barracks restriction, didn't you? You did order the denial of food.
Yes, I did.
Wouldn't this form of discipline be considered a code red?
No.
If I called the other 478 Marines at Guantanamo Bay to testify, would they consider it a code red?
Please, the court, the witness can't possibly testify as to what 478 other men would say. Now, we object to this entire line of questioning as argumentative and irrelevant badgering of the witness.
The government's objection is sustained, Lieutenant Caffey. What? Questioning a Marine officer with an impeccable service record.
Ew.
Lieutenant Kendrick, was Dawson given a rating of below average on this last report because you learned he'd been sneaking food to Private Bell?
Object!
Not so fast. Lieutenant?
Lance Corporal Dawson was given a below average rating because he had committed a crime.
Crime? What crime did he commit? Lieutenant Kendrick? Dawson brought a hungry guy some food. What crime did he commit?
He disobeyed an order.
And because he did, because he exercised his own set of values, because he made a decision about the welfare of a Marine that was in conflict with an order of yours, he was punished. Is that right?
Lance Corporal Dawson disobeyed an order.
Yeah, it wasn't a real order, was it? After all, it's peacetime. He wasn't being asked to secure a hill or advance on a beachhead. I mean, surely a Marine of Dawson's intelligence can be trusted to determine on his own which are the really important orders and which orders might say be morally questionable. Can Dawson determine on his own which orders he's going to follow?
No, he cannot.
A lesson he learned after the Curtis Bell incident, am I right?
I would think so.
You know so, don't you, Lieutenant?
Object!
Sustained.
Why?
Lieutenant Kendrick, one final question. If you had ordered Dawson to give Santiago a code red...
I specifically ordered those men...
Is it reasonable to
touch
think he would have
Santiago.
disobeyed you again?
Lieutenant, don't answer that.
You don't have to, I'm through.
Lieutenant Kendrick, did you order Lance Corporal Dawson and Private Downey to give Willie Santiago a code red?
Lieutenant Kendrick, did you?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
Dude, this dude's so dissociated. He just went somewhere totally else.
I got the Tower Chief's log from that night. Jessup's telling the truth. 6 a.m. flight was the first plane out.
And by the way, that's a trauma response. No, they did not. Dude, this place pays by the hour, you can tell.
First flight stateside left Guantanamo Bay at 2300. It arrived at Andrews Air Force Base, Maryland, at a few minutes past 2 in the morning.
Really? Then why isn't it listed in the Tower Chief's log? What are you telling me? He fixed the logbook? Or maybe he can make it so a plane didn't take off, but I can sure as hell prove that one landed. I'll get the logbook from Andrews.
You're not going to find anything in the Andrews logbook either.
Yeah.
Nathan Jessup is about to be appointed Director of Operations for the National Security Council. You don't get to that position without knowing how to sidestep a few landmines.
Well, he's not going to be able to sidestep you.
Bummer.
You don't still intend to put me on the stand.
Thursday morning, 10 o'clock.
Why would...
There's got to be someone who can testify to the flight. A ground crew member, someone.
Joe, this isn't TWA. There isn't a regular flight schedule. You have any idea how many planes take off and land every day? A kid from the ground crew isn't going to remember a flight that landed 4 weeks ago.
Well, how do you know, though, if you don't go and
Forget
check
the
this?
flight. Forget the flight. We'll put Markinson on the stand and we'll deal with Jessup's refusal to transfer Santiago, and he'll testify to the forged transfer, and that'll be enough. That and Downey's testimony really ought to be enough.
See, this is why technology can be good. Because now they do have every flight logged.
And why did you give him a code red?
I was ordered to give him a code red by the platoon commander of Rifle Security Company Windward, Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick.
You're gonna do fine.
Really? He seems...
You think they'll let us go back to our platoon soon, ma'am?
missing.
Absolutely.
Baby.
Do you remember the order of the questions?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And we'll use small words.
Yes.
Because he gets rattled when he doesn't understand something.
Joe.
I'm just saying, go slow.
Oh, he is dumb.
Joanne.
What? It's gonna be fine.
Probably could have phrased differently, though.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Santiago, I was William's executive officer. I knew your son vaguely, which is to say I knew his name. In a matter of time, the trial of the 2 men charged with your son's death will be concluded, and 7 men and 2 women whom you've never met will try to offer you an explanation as to why William is dead. For my part, I've done as much as I can to bring the truth to light. And the truth is this: your son is dead for only one reason. I wasn't strong enough to stop it. Always, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Andrew Markinson.
Dude, no. 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 No.
Private, I want you to tell us one last time. Why did you go to Private Santiago's room on the night of September 6th?
The code red was ordered by my platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan James Kendrick.
Thank you. Your witness.
Private, the week of 2 September, the switch log has you down at post 39 until 1600. Is that correct?
I'm sure it is, sir. They keep that log pretty good.
How far is it from post 39 to the Windward Barracks?
Oh, it's a ways, sir. It's a hike.
About how far by jeep?
About 10, 15 minutes, sir.
You ever had to walk it?
Yes, sir. That day, sir. Friday. The pickup private. That's like what we call the guy who drops us off at our post and picks us up. Also, because he can get girls in New York City. The pickup private got a flat, sir, right at 39. He pulled up and bam, blowout with no spare. So we had to double time it back to the barracks.
And if it's about 10 or 15 minutes by jeep, I'm guessing it must be a good hour by foot, am I right?
Pickup and me did it in 45 flat, sir.
Not bad.
It is not bad.
Now, you've said that your assault on Private Santiago was a result of an order that Lieutenant Kendrick gave you in your barracks room in 1620, am I right?
Yes, sir.
But you just said that you didn't make it back to the Windward Barracks until 1645.
No.
Sir?
Well, if you didn't make it back to the barracks until 1645, how could you be in your room in 1620?
Well, you see, sir, there was a blowout.
Private, did you ever actually hear Lieutenant Kendrick order a code red?
Well, Hal said that...
Private, did you ever actually hear Lieutenant Kendrick order a code red?
No, sir.
Please, the court, I'd like to request a recess in order to confer with my client.
Why did you go into
The
Santiago's
witness
room?
has rights.
The witness has been read his rights, Commander.
The question will be repeated.
Why
Your
did you go
Honor.
into Santiago's room?
How?
Did Lance Corporal Dawson tell you to give Santiago a code red?
How?
Don't look at him!
How? Private, answer the captain's question.
Yes, Captain. I was given an order by my squad leader, Lance Corporal Harold W. Dawson, United States Marine Corps, and I followed it.
Damn, that was bleak. That's a soggy boy.
Maybe we put Downey back on the stand before we get to Dawson.
Maybe if we work at it, we could get Dawson charged with the Kennedy assassination.
Are you drunk?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put on a pot of coffee. We've got a long night's work ahead.
She's gonna make coffee. That's nice.
Oh man, he is in it.
Downey wasn't in his room. Wasn't even there. That was an important piece of information, don't you think?
Danny, it was a setback, and I'm sorry. But we fix it and move on to Markinson.
Markinson's dead. Really got a hand of those federal marshals, boy. It's not like he hanged himself by his shoelaces or slashed his wrist with a concealed butter knife. This guy got into full dress uniform, stood in the middle of that room, drew a nickel-plated pistol from his holster, fired a bullet into his mouth.
Oof. It's not much better hearing it.
Anyway, since we seem to be out of witnesses, I thought I'd drink a little.
I still think we can win.
It's sustained.
What possible good could come from putting Jessup on the stand?
He told Kendrick to order the code red.
He did? That's great. Why didn't you say so? And of course, you have proof of that. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. You were sick the day they taught law at law school.
You put him on the stand and you get it from him.
Drama queen.
Lieutenant Taffy will have a long and prosperous career teaching typewriter maintenance at the Rocco Colombo School for Women. Thank you for playing. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
Okay, count to 10, buddy. Take a lap. It's okay. Oh, yeah, that was rough. That was rough, babe. That was a... Damn.
I'm sorry I lost your set of steak knives.
Ooh, call back.
You want a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my father would have enjoyed seeing me graduate from law school. I think he would have liked that an awful lot.
Neither Lila Caffey nor Sam Weinberg are lead counsel for the defense in the matter of U.S. versus Dawson and Downey. So there's really only one question. What would you do?
That's a very good conversation.
Joanne!
Why are you driving?
Get in the car. Look.
You can still get a DUI.
Joe, I apologize. I was angry. I'm sorry about what I said. I'm gonna put Jessup on the stand.
Oh my god. That was the equivalent of a kiss in the rain between two lawyers.
Put him on the defensive and lead him right where he's dying to go.
That's it? That's the plan?
That's the plan.
How you gonna do?
I have no idea. I need my bat.
Playing to a man's ego is a good strategy. I missed that paper.
What's going on?
Gotta go out to Andrews.
Air Force?
Jessup's gonna have his hands full today.
Listen, Danny.
It's off his rocker a little bit.
I'm special counsel for internal affairs, and I'm telling you, you could get in a lot of trouble.
Why, Lieutenant Commander Galloway, you're not suggesting that I back off a material witness.
If you think you can't get him, yeah.
It's tricky. It's certainly tricky.
Call your first witness.
Where is he?
He'll be here, don't worry.
Lieutenant, call your witness.
Defense calls Colonel Nathan Jessup.
This weirdo. He does play weirdos well, doesn't he? Dude, I feel like he could just snap any second. He's so scary.
Colonel Jessup, would you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give in this general court-martial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you have a seat, please, sir?
Colonel, when you learned of Santiago's letter to the NIS, you had a meeting with your two senior officers. Is that right?
Yes.
The platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, and the executive officer, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Markinson.
Yes.
And at present, Colonel Markinson is dead. Is that right?
Objection. I'd like to know just what the defense counsel is implying.
I'm implying simply that at present, Colonel Markinson is not alive.
Surely Colonel Jessup doesn't need to appear in this courtroom to confirm that information.
I just wasn't sure if the witness is aware that 2 days ago the colonel took his own life with a .45 caliber pistol.
The witness is aware, the court is aware, and now the court members are aware. But we thank you for bringing this to our attention. Move on, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. Colonel, at the time of this meeting, you gave Lieutenant Kendrick an order. Is that right?
I told Kendrick to tell his men that Santiago wasn't to be touched.
And did you give an order to Colonel Markinson as well?
I ordered Markinson to have Santiago transferred off the base immediately.
Why?
I felt his life might be in danger once word of the letter got out.
Grave danger?
Is there another kind?
I think I just understood the meaning of grave danger.
You and Colonel Markinson co-signed ordering that Santiago be on a flight leaving Guantanamo at 6 the next morning. Was that the first flight off the base?
The 0600 was the first flight off the base.
Oh, you flew up to Washington early this morning, is that right?
Yes.
I noticed you're wearing your Class A dress uniform for your appearance in court today.
As are you, Lieutenant.
Did you wear that uniform on the plane?
Please, the court, is this dialogue relevant to anything in
The defense
particular?
didn't have an opportunity to depose this witness, Your Honor. I'd ask the court for a little latitude.
A very little latitude.
I wore utilities on the plane.
You brought your dress uniform with you?
Yes.
Toothbrush, shaving kit, change of underwear.
Your Honor!
Is the colonel's underwear a matter of national security?
Gentlemen, you better get somewhere fast with this, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. Colonel?
I brought a change of clothes and some personal items.
Thank you. After Dawson and Downey's arrest on the night of the 6th, Santiago's barracks room was sealed off and its contents inventoried. 4 pairs camouflage pants, 3 long-sleeve khaki shirts, 3 pairs of boots, 4 pairs green socks, 3 OD green t-shirts,
Please,
2
the court,
belts.
is there a question anywhere in our future?
Lieutenant Caffey, I have to ask you to state your question.
I'm wondering why Santiago wasn't packed.
Oh, shit.
We'll get back to that one in a minute. This is a record of all telephone calls made from your base in the past 24 hours. After being subpoenaed to Washington, you made 3 calls. I've highlighted those calls in yellow. Do you recognize those numbers, sir?
I called Colonel Fitzhughes in Quantico, Virginia. I wanted to let him know that I would be in town. The second call was to arrange a meeting with Congressman Richmond of the House Armed Services Committee. And the third call was to my sister, Elizabeth.
Why did you make that call, sir?
I thought she might like to have dinner tonight.
Your Honor.
I'm gonna put a stop to this.
Your Honor, these are the telephone records from Gitmo for September 6th. And these are 14 letters that Santiago wrote in 9 months, requesting, in fact, begging for a transfer. Upon hearing the news that he was finally getting his transfer, Santiago was so excited that do you know how many people he called? 0. Nobody. Not one call to his parents saying he was coming home. Not one call to a friend saying, can you pick me up at the airport? He was asleep in his bed at midnight. And according to you, he was getting on a plane in 6 hours. Yet everything he owned was hanging neatly in his closet and folded neatly in his footlocker. You were leaving for 1 day. You packed a bag and made 3 phone calls. Santiago was leaving for the rest of his life, and he hadn't called a soul, and he hadn't packed a thing. Can you explain that?
Got him. Do it.
Fact is, there was no transfer order. Santiago wasn't going anywhere. Isn't that right, Colonel?
Objection, Your Honor. It's obvious that Lieutenant Caffey's intention this afternoon is to smear a high-ranking Marine officer in the desperate hope that the mere appearance of impropriety will win him points with the court members. Now, it's my recommendation, sir, that Lieutenant Caffey be reprimanded for his conduct and the witness be excused with the court's deepest apologies.
How?
Overruled.
Your Honor.
Your objection is noted.
Hey, this judge knows what's up. How is it ethical
Is this funny, sir?
to have those rules? Like a lawyer can't ask a certain line of questions if it's a higher officer?
Don't have the first damn clue. Maybe he was an early riser and liked to pack in the morning. And maybe he didn't have any friends. I'm an educated man, but I'm afraid I can't speak intelligently about the travel habits of William Santiago. What I do know is that he was set to leave the base at 0600. Now, are these really the questions that I was called here to answer? Phone calls and footlockers? Please tell me that you have something more, Lieutenant. These 2 Marines are on trial for their lives. Please tell me that their lawyer hasn't pinned their hopes to a phone bill. Do you have any other questions for me, Counselor?
Maybe he should have gone to law school. Or hell.
Lieutenant Caffey.
There's just nothing between his ears.
Thanks, Danny. I love Washington.
Excuse me. I didn't dismiss you.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not through with my examination. Sit down.
Colonel.
What's that?
I'd appreciate if he would address me as Colonel or Sir. I believe I've earned it.
Defense counsel will address the witness as Colonel or Sir.
I don't know what the hell kind of unit you're running here.
The witness will address this court as Judge or Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm quite certain I've earned it.
Well, imp. He does look like a kindergartner that just got scolded.
What do you want to discuss now? My favorite color?
Colonel, the 6 a.m. flight was the first one off the base?
Yes.
There wasn't a flight that left 7 hours earlier and landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 2 a.m.?
Lieutenant, I think we've covered this, haven't we?
Your Honor, these are the Tower Chief's logs for both Guantanamo Bay and Andrews Air Force Base. Guantanamo log lists no flight that left at 11 p.m., and the Andrews log lists no flight that landed at 2 a.m. I'd like to admit them as defense exhibits Alpha and Bravo.
I don't understand. You're admitting evidence of a flight that never existed.
Well, we believe it did, sir. Defense will be calling Airman Cecil O'Malley and Airman Anthony Rodriguez. They were working the ground crew at Andrews at 2 a.m. on the 7th.
Your Honor, these men weren't on the list.
Rebuttal witnesses, Your Honor, are called specifically to refute testimony offered under direct examination.
I'll allow the witnesses.
This is ridiculous.
Colonel, a moment ago...
Check the tower logs, for Christ's sake.
Well, we'll get to the airmen in just a minute, sir. A moment ago, you said that you ordered Lieutenant Kendrick to tell his men that Santiago wasn't to be touched.
That's right.
And Lieutenant Kendrick was clear on what you wanted?
Crystal.
Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick ignored the order?
Ignored the order?
Any chance he forgot about it?
No.
Any chance Lieutenant Kendrick left your office and said, the old man is wrong?
No.
When Lieutenant Kendrick spoke to the platoon and ordered them not to touch Santiago, any chance they ignored him?
You ever served in an infantry unit, son?
No, sir.
Ever served in a forward area?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in another man's hands? Asked him to put his life in yours?
No, sir.
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die. It's that simple. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
Crystal.
Dang.
Colonel, I have just one more question before I call Airman O'Malley and Airman Rodriguez. If you gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why would Santiago be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer him off the base?
Take your own battleship.
Santiago was a substandard Marine. He was being transferred.
That's not what you said. You said he was being transferred because he was in grave danger.
That's correct.
You said he was in danger. I said grave danger. You said, is there any
recall what I
I
said.
can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have it read back to me like I'm...
Why the two orders? Colonel?
Sometimes men take matters into their own hands.
No, sir. You made it clear just a moment ago that your men never take matters in their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. So Santiago shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should he have, Colonel?
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why did he have to be transferred? Colonel, Lieutenant Kendrick ordered the code red, didn't he? Because that's what you told Lieutenant Kendrick to do.
Object!
And when it went bad, you cut these guys loose!
Your Honor!
You had
Counsel, I'll hold
Markinson
you
sign
in
a phony
contempt.
transfer.
Your Honor!
You doctored the logbook.
Damn it, Captain!
You coerced the doctor.
Consider yourself in contempt.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth! Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg? I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You weep for Santiago and you curse the Marines. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that Santiago's death, while tragic, probably saved lives, and my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you...
You ordered the code red.
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
Please, the court. I suggest the members be dismissed so that we can move to an immediate Article 39A session. The witness has rights.
Captain Ross.
Jack?
The members of the court will retire to an anteroom until further instructed.
All rise.
What the hell is this?
It certainly lands different than Legally Blonde.
I'm gonna get on a plane and go on back to my base.
You're not going anywhere, Colonel. MPs, guard the Colonel.
Yes, sir.
Captain Ross.
What the hell is
Colonel
this?
Jessup, you have the right to remain silent. Any statement
I'm
you
being
make
charged with a
used against
crime.
you in a trial by court-martial.
Is that what
or
this
other
is?
judicial or administrative
I'm being charged with a crime?
Right to further
This is
questioning.
funny.
This lawyer may be a civilian
That's what
lawyer
this
appointed
is.
by you, or
I'm gonna
military
rip the
lawyer.
eyes out of your head and piss at your dead skull! You f*** with the wrong Marine!
Colonel Jessup, do you understand these rights as I've just read them to you?
People, you have no idea how to defend a nation. All you did was weaken a country today, Caffey. That's all you did. You put people's lives in danger. Sweet dreams, son.
Arrogant.
I'm a lawyer and an officer in the United States Navy, and you're under arrest, you son of a... The witness is excused.
It's different than Legally Blonde, but it's still really satisfying. Still kind of a bummer that they killed a kid.
The members reached a verdict.
We have, sir.
Lance Corporal Dawson, Private First Class Downey. On the charge of murder, the members find the accused not guilty. The charge of conspiracy to commit murder, the members find the accused not guilty. On the charge of conduct unbecoming a United States Marine, the members find the accused guilty as charged. The accused are hereby sentenced to time already served, and you are ordered to be dishonorably discharged from the Marine Corps.
Ooh.
All rise.
Damn. Let this be a lesson that just because someone says, go beat someone up, you should not jump off the same bridge as your friends.
What does that mean?
Oh, baby boy. Baby boy is
What did that mean?
nothing.
I don't understand.
Yeah, we got that.
Colonel Jessup said he ordered the code red. What did we do wrong?
It's not that simple.
What did we do wrong? We did nothing wrong.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did.
We were supposed to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves. We were supposed to fight for Willie.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Caffey, I have to take these men over to personnel for some paperwork.
Damn. It's correct, but it doesn't feel great.
Sir.
You don't need to wear a patch in your arm to have honor.
10 hot! There's an officer on deck.
Airman Cecil O'Malley and Anthony Rodriguez, what exactly were these guys going to testify to?
Unless I'm mistaken, they're both going to testify under oath that they had absolutely no recollection of anything. And handsome to it, didn't you think?
I'll see you around campus. I gotta go arrest Kendrick.
Tell him I say hi.
Will do.
Man, what a challenge of the gray area. I do still think the two boys, probably deserve manslaughter, but I'm okay with the verdict that they got. I'm not okay. I'm not gonna throw a tantrum about it. Members of cadets at Texas A&M University. My cousin went there. In case you cared. Ian Kincaid. Sounds familiar. The lighting technician. Roberta Wells on the first aid, okay. Linda Chipperley? Unless that's a man, there was at least one female driver, which is cool. Donna Bassett, the negative cutter, which is a lost start, maybe. And there you have it. Man, if this doesn't challenge you to truly hear out all sides of the story, I don't know what will. That was, re-recording at Skywalker Sound. That's fun. And it was filmed in Culver City and DC. Wish to thank the Capitol Band, commanding officer and crew of US something, went a little fast. It's copyrighted, in case you wanted to know. Yeah, so face value isn't always the real value. Sometimes you gotta dig a little deeper. 1982, if that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed decompressing, as I plan to do for the next hour or two, and question all the morals that currently exist here today in society. You know, just a lighthearted movie before bed. Cool. Thanks for watching. See you next time.